Hello everyone, my name is Thomas Jr. here, aka Mustache Tom, and I'm here to review the movie reInside. So this is a movie that follows that movie type that is becoming a movie type now, where a group of individuals who wear masks end up invading a house. But this one has two slightly different variants going on within it. First, it is also a found footage film. The second is that there is apparently more going on than what it seems. However, that does lead to some stupidity later on in the road. So, let's start from the beginning here. So, we start with what I can only assume is this YouTuber vlogger guy. He says something about subscribers, so that immediately makes me think of YouTube whenever I hear the word subscribers now. He never officially says he's a YouTuber, but again, subscribers, that usually means YouTube vlogger in this case. He could be a Twitch person, but again, I'm not sure. Like, I think they would have a heavier indication of some sort of variant if that were the case. Anyway, that doesn't matter so much as two masked people arrive, and then he ends up getting stabbed. We cut to these two sisters, Robin and Corey, who are recording this documentary / story thing that had happened in their life. They have some actors who are their friends. They have a few other people with them, two other people with them that are just sort of there. So 6 people in total that are living up in this house, getting ready to record this movie. They do scene cuts and all that stuff. And during the second night, I believe it was, they start to hear some strange noises, but they don't think much of it at the time, until more noises happen the next night, in which they see an individual coming up to their house, asking some questions about like why they're there, and she's sort of awkward a little bit, and things just seem a little off, but they think not too much of it. All the while, the two sisters are having a bit of a hissy fit, as it would turn out. One of the scenes that are in this whole documentary is all about the younger sister. Apparently got molested by their father, and this was a part of the whole documentary of like being honest and being open and all that stuff. So that leads the younger sister, Cody, who has been primarily holding the camera throughout most of the movie, to sort of rage out and started to question all the other things that have been going on. The strange woman that appeared, the strange noises that have been occurring. So when the noise comes again, one of the actors, Aaron I believe his name is, goes to check it out, and as they work their way back out, as he works his way back, hearing the people back at the house, they say that they're inside. So bizarrely enough, the older sister's like not even there for whatever reason. And this is where the issues start piling up, by the way, with the older sister character, Robin. But we'll get to that in just a bit. But, so, yeah, they're doing their thing. They're trying to figure out what's going on. At some point, a rock is thrown into their house, and they start freaking out, and no one decides, hey, we're gonna call the cops. Though, to make up for that, at least the older sister Robin says that the phone has been out, and that all the other stuff has been going wrong, the car being messed with. So one of the other guys, I think his name is like Baron or something like that, or what was his name? Doug, sorry, that's what his name was. He ends up like going outside alone to get some help or whatever, so already getting those mistakes of, oops, you gotta split up the group one by one. So this is where things get really stupid. The phone starts working again. Okay, so Robin decides, stupidly enough, instead of calling the cops, to call her husband, Max, I believe his name is. So, yeah, really, really dumb. You know, with all the events that have occurred, especially with the rock being thrown inside, and the house looking like it was, like, you know, invaded or whatever, to not call the cops first is a grave mistake, and you know, it does lead to something I'm gonna save for a little bit later on in terms of, like, what I thought they were trying to do, but they ended up not even doing it. Anyways, stupidity aside, we see that now that there, you know, the four people, there's four of them inside. We have Aaron, who's like all the way out there, looking for help. As he's encroaching on one of the houses, he ends up getting killed first, axed off. And all the while, everyone else is freaking out, and they tell the other guy, Doug, who's with them, to like go out and look for help. And this leaves the three girls. Oh, sorry, there was 5 people there then, I think, because then it was just the 3 ladies that were just there. There was the 2 sisters and this actress playing like one of the sisters, and we see that something else also happens to Doug, but we're not really sure what it is. But they end up getting called by Doug, which leads to even more stupidity, because one of the sisters, I believe it's the younger one, says, like, later on in the movie, like, oh, it's weird, he didn't respond to me calling him his, like, alt name. Oh, that's so weird, as if it wasn't even him. So, my astute guess on that is that the killer copied his voice, because he copied one of the other voices to lure out Aaron. And he did that with Doug, so he used lines from Doug to talk on the phone. So yeah, there's that. The actress goes upstairs while the 2 sisters are complaining about what to do. The killer, one of the killers, the female one, heads in when she's all set in her bed. Proceeds to choke her out a bit and then smash her with a trophy. So they hear the knock that they had said that Doug would provide. Ends up being the killer guy, and then they freak out and they see the other killer upstairs, and then they lock themselves in another room. So they're there for a while freaking out, and then it only happens within a second, which again, stupidity. How that timing could have not been worse. Or actually, it probably could have been, but it was so close. The killer stopped making noise, and then all of a sudden they hear a call out noise of apparently Max arrives, the boyfriend that Robin called. So Cody's freaking out because there's a dead body inside where they are. they end up like running outside at night. So it's the three of them running, and then one of them, Max, ends up getting caught in one of these bear traps. So they were like running right into a direction where there were bear traps. So they end up pulling him out and struggling to carry him on. This is where the movie takes some weird cuts to show like this other documentary that apparently Robin was working on, to showing how the other two were caught, or primarily how Robin was caught, and then it cuts back to the house where they were. It shows all three of them tied up. And it's just the three of them and the two killers, and apparently Doug was still alive, so they have Doug, the two killers, have him appear in front of the camera naked, say something, and then kill himself. I'm a bit shocked that he didn't try to go for like the whole heroic thing instead, but whatever. So, the main killer, goes on about, like, when the, Robin asks about, like, why they're doing this, and then, the killer proceeds to read, this whole, paper that, Robin wrote for, this college, or to get them to this house in the first place, about all the stuff about pain and loss and all that stuff, blah blah blah. So they proceed to, the girl proceeds to kill Max. Then Robin assumes that they're gonna kill her, but the killer insists that instead of doing that, he wants to collab with them. So it turns out that the two of them get dragged into the whole killing scene. I'm assuming that what we saw at the beginning was the two of them becoming killers. And they're brought to this house where they're recording, like, them being a family with the other two initial killers. And yeah, they get roped in on the whole scene, and that was reInside. Pretty of dumb stuff. I assumed what they were trying to do was make it seem like Robin was a part of the act all along, and that she was actually one of the killers the whole time. But they never follow through with it. They just make it so that she becomes a killer after the fact, but not she was a killer the whole time. And again, it kind of leads into the whole stupidity thing of like, oh, why would she call Max instead of the cops? Like, and there were a few other scenes of like, she's doing some really weird stuff. She's really trying to avoid the cops at all costs here. It seems very suspicious. Why would she keep doing that if, you know, if she was innocent? And then she ends up just being really stupid at the end of the day. And yeah, you know, all the other stupidity of like, oh, well, just go out alone. It's like, okay, fine. Well, that was embarrassing. Oops, oh well. I'll give this movie I'll give it a 3 out of 10, or a 2 out of 10, or something like that. Not good movie. But hey, if you enjoyed this review, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to check out the links in the description. One will lead you over to my Discord server, the other to my Patreon page. Any donations are greatly appreciated. And until next time, everyone, bye bye.